The soft light of dawn slipped through the gaps in the curtains, casting pale golden streaks across our bedroom. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, already wide awake while the quiet, rhythmic breathing beside me continued, peaceful and unaware. I could hear the birds beginning to sing outside, the world waking up while my own felt like it was on the edge of unraveling. Daniel stirred beside me, his arm reaching out in search of me, but I shifted just in time. I couldn't let him wake up just yet, not until I had figured out what I was doing. I crept out of bed silently, my bare feet brushing the cool hardwood floor. My phone, charging on the dresser, lit up with a single message that I had already read a dozen times. I'm on my way. 7:30. It was 7:02. I pulled on a hoodie over my tank top and padded to the kitchen, my thoughts as loud as thunder despite the quiet. Every step I took felt like I was walking a tightrope strung over something dangerous. I was the one who invited her. I was the one who texted late last night while Daniel had dozed off in front of the TV, his head slumped to the side like nothing was wrong. Like everything wasn't about to change. Coffee brewed slowly. The smell filled the kitchen, warm and familiar, grounding me even as my nerves threatened to spike. I opened the back door, stepping out onto the porch where the morning air was crisp and clean. I leaned against the rail and closed my eyes. A car pulled up. My breath caught in my throat. I didn't have to look to know it was her. Samantha. She stepped out like she belonged here, confident, graceful, and already wearing a smile that made everything feel 10 times more complicated. Her chestnut hair was tied in a loose braid, and she wore a navy cardigan over jeans that hugged her perfectly. She saw me and walked up the porch step slowly, her expression soft but unreadable. "Hey," she said. "Hey." The silence stretched, but not uncomfortably. It was the kind of silence that only existed between people who knew each other too well and didn't need to fill every gap with words. She looked at me, her hazel eyes searching mine. "Is he still asleep?" she asked. I nodded. "Yeah. For now." Samantha glanced toward the house, her lips pressing into a thin line. "Are you sure about this, Olivia?" "I'm not sure about anything anymore," I whispered, hating how true it felt. But I couldn't wait any longer. "I needed you to come." She didn't ask why. She didn't need to. We both knew. It had been 2 months since I last saw her. 2 months since we ran into each other at the bookstore downtown, where she had pretended not to notice the way my hands shook and I had pretended not to feel every bit of history between us rising like smoke from a fire we thought we'd put out. I led her into the kitchen, where the coffee was still warm, and poured 2 cups. We sat across from each other at the small table, just like we had when we used to hang out in college, before things got messy, before Daniel. "He doesn't know?" she asked. "No." "You didn't tell him I texted?" "No." She stirred her coffee slowly, the spoon tapping lightly against the ceramic. "And you're okay with me being here when he wakes up?" "I don't know what I'm okay with anymore," I said honestly. "But I do know I'm tired of pretending." Her eyes softened. "So, what do you want me to do, Olivia? What are we doing here?" I looked down at my coffee, then back at her. "I need the truth. I need to know what it was, what it still is, between us." Samantha's face went still, and her hands curled around the mug. "You want to talk about us now? After all this time? While your boyfriend's asleep upstairs?" "Yes." She shook her head, a dry laugh escaping her lips. "You never made things easy." "I wasn't trying to." "Why now?" "Because I can't keep pretending what we had was just some mistake I've forgotten about. I never forgot. I still think about you more than I should. And I think you think about me too." She didn't answer at first, but the pause said everything. Then, finally, "I do." The words were relief and a weight all at once. "I loved you, Olivia," she said quietly. "Back then. I think I still do. But I left because you said you were choosing him. I wasn't going to stay and watch you build a life I couldn't be a part of." I swallowed hard, blinking back the sting in my eyes. "I thought I could forget you. That if I stayed with Daniel long enough, I'd start to believe we were right together." "And are you?" "No," I whispered. "I think I'm lying to both of us." A sound came from upstairs, footsteps. Daniel was awake. Samantha's posture stiffened. Do you want me to go? No, I said, firmer than I expected. I need him to know. I need me to know. Moments later, Daniel walked into the kitchen, rubbing sleep from his eyes. He froze when he saw her. Confusion, then recognition, then something like anger flickered across his face. Samantha, he asked, voice thick with disbelief. What the hell? I stood up. Daniel, sit down. Please. He looked between the two of us, hurt and suspicion rising fast. What is this, Olivia? Why is she here? She's here because I asked her to be, I said. We need to talk. No, you need to talk, he said, voice rising. You invited your ex over while I was asleep? What even is this? I haven't been honest with you, I admitted. Not about her. Not about how I felt. I thought I could bury it, but I can't anymore. I care about her. I never stopped. Daniel's face twisted, and he looked at Samantha like she was a ghost from a past he didn't want to believe existed. You told me you were over her. I told myself that too, I said, my voice shaking now. But it's not true. He looked at me for a long time, then said quietly, So, what? You brought her here to break up with me? No, I said. I brought her here so I could stop lying.
To you. To her.
To myself.
I'm not asking you to understand right now.
I needed the truth in front of me. Daniel stood there in silence. And then he nodded, slowly, bitterly. You made your choice. I'm sorry, I whispered. He turned and walked out, the front door closing behind him like the end of a chapter. Samantha came to stand beside me, her hand brushing mine. You didn't have to do that for me. I didn't do it for you, I said. I did it for me. She looked at me, her expression unreadable. So what now? I don't know, I admitted. But I know I want to find out with you. She didn't say anything, just reached for my hand and held it tightly. The morning light filtered through the kitchen windows. The coffee had gone cold, but somehow I felt warm for the first time in a long time.